Imagine a graph with two lines climbing a mountain. The first line is bright green, and it represents your income. It starts modest, maybe dips a little during training, and then skyrockets vertically into the top 1%. That is the doctor's salary. But right next to it, almost touching it, is a red line. That is your spending. And the terrifying thing about high-income professions in 2026 isn't that they don't make money. It is that the red line chases the green line with magnetic precision. As the income jumps from $60,000 to $350,000, the spending jumps to $349,000 almost overnight. This creates a graph where the lines move in parallel upward and to the right forever. Because your net worth lives in the tiny, microscopic gap between those two lines, you can earn $5 million over a decade and have a net worth of exactly zero. Today, we are diving deep into the psychology of the high-income poor. Whether you are a surgeon, a software architect, or a rising entrepreneur, the mechanics of the trap are exactly the same. In fact, in our current 2026 economy, where digital status and luxury inflation are at an all-time high, the trap snaps shut faster than ever before. We assume a high salary acts as a shield against financial ruin, but the data shows it often acts as an accelerant. It allows us to dig deeper holes faster. We're going to break down the structural failures that keep high earners broke and walk through the lifestyle lag strategy. The only way to keep the money you trade your life for. The myth of the rich doctor is one of the most persistent lies in our culture. In 2026, we see the title, the social media profile, and the luxury SUV in the hospital parking lot, and we assume wealth. But wealth and income are cousins, not twins. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays. For the vast majority of high earners today, nothing stays. Recent data from the white coat investor and financial groups shows that despite earning in the top tax brackets, nearly 25% of physicians have a net worth under $1 million even after 20 years of practice. Think about that math. You could churn through $10 million of gross income over a career and end up with less than 10% of it to show for your effort. Where does it go? It starts at the beginning of the race. Most people start their financial life at zero. High earners, especially doctors, start in a hole so deep you can't see daylight. In 2026, the median medical school debt has climbed past $250,000. For specialists, it's often north of $400,000. This is not interest-free money. These loans have been accruing interest through residency, while the doctor was making a modest $65,000 a year, barely covering rent in inflated urban markets. By the time they become an attending or senior partner, the moment the big paycheck finally arrives, they are technically insolvent. Their net worth is a negative $250,000. They are in their early 30s with zero assets, massive liabilities, and they have lost the most powerful decade for compound interest. They have to sprint just to get back to the starting line where a plumber or a teacher started 10 years ago. This pressure to catch up creates a dangerous psychological state. Pent-up deferred gratification. Imagine spending your 20s in a library or hospital ward. You missed the weddings, the vacations, and the simple freedoms while your college friends were buying homes and posting travel vlogs. When that first $25,000 monthly check hits your account, the dam breaks. It isn't greed, it's relief. It's a psychological release valve. You tell yourself, I've worked harder than anyone. I deserve this. You aren't just buying a car, you're trying to buy back the decade you lost. But this emotional reaction is exactly what glues the spending line to the income line. If you have a negative net worth, you aren't rich. You are a high-income poor person. The real killer in 2026 isn't the occasional splurge. It's the structural trap. This is when your consumption rises in direct proportion to your income, ensuring your savings rate remains static. For a normal earner, lifestyle creep means buying better groceries. For a high earner, it means structural upgrades that come with contracts. It's the jump from a rented apartment to a $1.5 million mortgage. It's the leap from a reliable sedan to a $120,000 electric luxury vehicle. These aren't one-time purchases. They are new baselines. Once you move into the bigger house, you must furnish it, heat it, and landscape it. The spending line doesn't drift up. It teleports to a new level and locks in. Let's look at the stress spending cycle. In 2026, professional burnout is at record highs. When you work 80 hours a week dealing with high-stakes decisions, you come home emotionally depleted. You don't have the bandwidth to comparison shop. You want convenience, and you want it now. This leads to soothing spending. You order the $80 delivery because you're too tired to cook. You book the $15,000 luxury resort because you need to escape your reality, not just see a new place. You buy the premium car because the commute is the only sanctuary you have. You think you're rewarding yourself, but you are actually ensuring that you have to keep working that stressful job forever to pay for the comforts that soothe the stress of the job. It is a perfect closed loop of golden handcuffs. Breaking this cycle requires a hard rule on fixed obligations. The rule is simple. Never upgrade a fixed cost immediately after a raise. In the 2026 economy, the smartest move is the lifestyle lag. When your income jumps, your fixed expenses must stay flat for at least 12 to 24 months. You can buy a nice dinner, but you cannot sign a new 30-year mortgage. This cooling-off period breaks the emotional link between more stress and more stuff. It forces you to prove you can save the difference first. Usually, after a year, the impulse fades. You realize the freedom of having $200,000 in a high-yield account feels infinitely better than the prestige of a marble countertop. In 2026, your financial destiny is dictated by 3 levers: your house, your car, and your schooling. These are the status symbols that act as badges of rank. There is immense mimetic pressure to signal wealth to your peers. If you are a partner at a firm, you are expected to live in a certain zip code and drive a certain caliber of car. You aren't just buying a vehicle, you're buying acceptance. This signaling is incredibly expensive. It turns your income into a public performance rather than a private asset. A luxury SUV in 2026 can cost double the price of a standard one. But with insurance and depreciation, it effectively drains triple the wealth. Private schooling is another massive drain. In 2026, tuition for 2 children can easily hit $80,000 per year. because this is paid with after-tax dollars. A high earner needs to make nearly $130,000 gross just to cover the school bills. When you stack the doctor house, the partner car, and the private school, you have accounted for 80% of your take-home pay before you've even bought a loaf of bread. This spending is often driven by imposter syndrome. High achievers are terrified of looking incompetent. Displaying wealth is a shortcut to saying, "I made it." But here is the irony. The colleagues flashing the most status are often the ones most paralyzed by debt. By copying them, you are only copying their anxiety. Let's visualize a solution with two different paths. Meet Dr. A and Dr. B. Both earn $400,000 in 2026. Dr. A is the typical spender. His red line, spending, follows his green line, income, like a shadow. He saves 5% and puts it in a 401k. But because his expenses are so high, he needs a $12 million nest egg to retire. He is on a treadmill that is speeding up. After 10 years, he has a big house and a fancy car. But if he stops working for 3 months, his entire life collapses. He is asset rich but cash poor. Now look at Dr. B. She utilizes the fixed personal salary concept. She makes $400,000 but decides she can live a fantastic life on $150,000. She doubles her residency lifestyle, which feels like true luxury. But she caps it there. Her spending line goes flat. Her income line keeps rising. The gap between those two lines becomes a wealth wedge. She's shoveling $250,000 a year into investments. By year 5, her net worth is going parabolic. The magic isn't just that she has more money. It's that she needs less money to be free. Because her spending is lower, her freedom number is lower. Dr. B hits her crossover point in 8 years, while Dr. A will be grinding until he's 70. The ultimate luxury in 2026 isn't a brand name watch. It is autonomy. It is the ability to say no. When you keep your fixed costs low, you are buying the option to walk away, to work part-time, or to pivot to a passion project. The happiest professionals aren't the ones with the biggest driveways. They are the ones with FU money. They practice their craft on their own terms because they don't need the paycheck to cover an inflated life. They have decoupled their survival from their employer. To execute this, you cannot rely on willpower. In 2026, the world is designed to make you spend. You must use automated scarcity. You set up a system where the wedge money never hits your checking account. It moves directly from payroll to investment accounts. You hide the money from yourself. You learn to run your life on the remaining balance. If the money isn't there, you can't spend it on a whim. You artificially create a broke feeling in your daily account while your net worth explodes in the background. This is psychological warfare against your own worst impulses. We also have to address the literacy gap. Professionals are often targeted by predatory financial advisors because they are seen as whales, high income, low knowledge. They get sold complex insurance products and high-fee funds. In 2026, the most profitable work you can do isn't an extra shift at the office. It's spending 10 hours reading the basics of low-cost index funds and tax strategy. That 10-hour investment will pay you a higher hourly rate than your professional degree ever will. As we move further into 2026, the pressure to perform wealth will only increase. But remember, the graph doesn't lie. Rich isn't about the height of the green income line. It is about the width of the white space between income and spending. That white space is your freedom. It's the ability to be present for your family, to sleep soundly at night, and to own your time. Don't spend your life trading your health for money, only to spend that money trying to buy back your health and your time later. Snap the lines apart now. Live like a resident today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. The choice is defined by the gap. Which doctor will you be? If you're a high earner or on the path to becoming one, have you felt the pull of lifestyle inflation? What is the one status item you almost bought but didn't? Drop a comment below. If you found this breakdown useful for your financial journey and your English practice, hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and stay focused on the wedge.